Yeah, basically to get into it, my Job Corps experience. Let's talk about it. Let's fucking talk about it. So when I first got, you know how you always go into some shit and you just have that feeling, you know, that untrustworthy feeling, that kind of butterfly, or you kind of feel a little sick. You know what I'm saying? Well, at least for me, and I know for shy people, for people like who don't like the unknown. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of people who don't like the unknown. I'm one of the people I honestly hate the fucking unknown. And I just was so scared. I was very terrified of what this shit was gonna bring me because I didn't know what I was gonna expect. I didn't know what to expect from this shit, from the staff, from the students. You know, it was different age groups too. It was from 16 all the way up into 25. That's a big ass gap. So it's just like you don't know who you're gonna meet. You don't know who's gonna have a like. And you know me, unfortunately, I don't know why, but I tend to go into the negative places first. Like I thought I wasn't gonna make any friends. I thought, you know, because I always had a hard time in life in general. I always had a hard time making friends. I always had a hard time communicating my emotional self. I always had a hard time, you know, basically getting to somebody to understand, like, I don't come to harm. I don't come intentionally to take advantage or just be vicious to people. And I had to learn the hard way. Just because I'm like that, it doesn't mean everybody else is like that. You know what I'm saying? But basically, let me get into this Job Corps experience, right? So, you know, when I get there, you know, it takes 2 weeks to sign up. I think it takes a full month to really get everything rolling into play, get you on the list, get you. Then you have to pack all that extra shit I had to do. Um, let's just fast forward to I get on the campus. Um, I pull up on the campus and we come into these things called phase groups. Now, phase groups are like basically the people you come in with. It's just kind of like a new hire situation. You know how you go into like a job opening and it's a whole bunch of people sitting out there, and then they want you to come in groups rather than one at a time. They want you to come into this big ass room and it's a group of y'all that's starting together. Y'all going through training together. That's basically what that was. At least that's the best way I can put it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the phase group thing, you know, and unfortunately, and this kind of shit always kind of happens to me. Like, my phase group was actually pretty small. It was smaller than usual. A lot of phase groups tend to be like 30 to 25 people. My phase group was like around, I think, 15 to 17 people. It was We didn't have that many people in our phase group. And I honestly don't remember half of them because I didn't talk to a lot of them. A lot of my phase group kind of scattered. Some of them got terminated. Some of them just said fuck it, they give up and shit like that. And it was a short few of us that made it last. So I didn't get to really interact with everybody to build a full relationship with them. So don't think because if I don't mention you that I don't know you. It's just like we just didn't have that much. Like y'all left, so what the fuck? Like I just what was I supposed to do? I only remember the people who stayed and shit. And I honestly I don't recall that many people in my phase group actually completing the program. I know I completed. I know my phase mate John completed. And right now, that's the only two people I can think that completed because everybody else either got terminated or quit. Um, yeah, so I go into this place, this new foreign ass place with different age groups. I got some older people in my trade, like they 25 and shit like that. So I'm thinking, oh, these niggas grown. They ain't gonna want to befriend a kid like me. I'm going in that bitch 16, so I'm already nervous. I already had a hard time in school, so I'm thinking I just need to stay out the way. I just need to come in this bitch, get my trade done, get the fuck. That was my mindset going into Job Corps. I just need to get what I need and get the fuck. That was it. That was all. I'm not here to make no friends. I'm not here to I was basically on defense mode. I'm pretty sure everybody else was like that too. Well, a lot of people were. A lot of people I found out were just like me. But that's, of course, that's not how shit went down. I did make friends, long-term friends that I actually still talk to this day. Still hang out with to this day. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about long-term commitment. I don't get how some people. I mean, I get it, but that's not how I'm built. I'm not built for short-term commitment, whether it's in a relationship or a friendship. Like, I take relationships very seriously. I like consistency. I don't know why. I always been that type of person. I like consistency. I don't like to be played with. I don't like my time to be wasted. I don't like just for the moment type of drug. Like, I don't. And I say drug. What I mean by drug is just like the feeling that you get. You know how you around somebody for a short. It's like the honeymoon phase. How you so in love, but then the honeymoon stage ends. And then now you're left to deal with this person, and now it's like, oh, do I want to deal with this person? Nah, I'ma just bounce. Like, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it to death do us part. I'm into, and that when I say these things, this is not just for a relationship. This is for friendships as well. This is for all types of relationships. I don't know how to half-ass love somebody. I don't know how to half-ass be somebody's friend. I don't know how to half-ass anything, especially emotionally. And of course, I'm a Cancer, so I'm guessing that's normal for us. I hear that a lot, that is normal for us. And I know some of y'all probably don't believe in that zodiac sign shit, but I mean, I don't really fully believe it all. It just, when you just get something to hope for, get something that you can relate to, that's basically what zodiac is for me. I don't really put my full trust into that shit, but it's just like, it's nice to have something. You know what I mean? And yeah. So fast forward after the 2 weeks, I done got accustomed to this shit. I done got accustomed to being around these folks. I'm thinking everything is looking up. I done made a couple friends in my phase group. Shit is looking up, It is what it is. And then I even got, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, getting so comfortable around somebody that I would tell them, somebody that I liked. I thought I could trust these folks. And mind you, this is all happening in my phase group because, for the first 2 weeks, everybody pretty much clings to that phase group because those are the first people they meet. Those are the first people that they see, that they have contact with. So those are the people that they stick with. And yeah, so that's what I did. I stuck with them. Like, I mean, I seen other people, but I didn't really interact with them until after the fact. Like, I'm one of the people, I'm kind of standoffish. I rather just, but if you approach me, I speak to you, and if the vibe is cool, and you want to be around, cool, we can be cool. But I'm not one to force shit. So, and I'm not finna be friendly. I'm not finna be up in everybody else's face begging for a friend. That's not how I get down. I don't beg for shit like that. Anyway, so 2 weeks later, we all accustomed, we're all acquainted, we all getting along, we all going through this lame ass class together because when you first come into Job Corps, you have to take this fucking class for 2 weeks, basically explaining trades, explaining basically the whole rundown of Job Corps. That shit took 2 weeks, and we was up in that bitch just stressed out, learning all this shit. It was really going in one ear out the other. Like, I took some of the shit in, the necessary shit, like the do's and the don'ts. Like, I obviously, they said if you fight, you're terminated. One fight, terminated. You didn't get no second chances from that, which was a fucking lie, because there was plenty of people on that campus fighting, but didn't get terminated because they didn't get caught. And even the people it was some people that did get caught that they didn't get terminated. I felt like the more and more I got there, the more and more people I started to talk to, connect with, the more shit I learned about the campus in general. That campus, it was cool, and they was cool. Some of the staff was cool and shit like that. But everybody really only gave a fuck about a number. At the end of the day, that's what it came down to. Like, you were a number. I know I stayed until my very, very last day, and they pushed my ass out. They didn't give a bitch no time. They didn't give a fuck. They was like, well, today's your last day. You have to go, type shit. Is what it, but it's cool. It is what it is. Even though I felt like I wasn't ready to go, I just needed like a week in one more week type shit. But you know, shit has to go a certain way. It is what it is. But let me backtrack because I'm talking about other shit. Yeah. So the 2 weeks passed. Blah blah blah. Now we can venture out on our own. We're not in that 2 weeks class no more. Now we're finna start going into our trades and shit like that. That's what the 2 weeks are for. The 2 weeks are for learning the school and finding your trade and what the fuck you want to do. Those what the 2 weeks were for. So now we're going into the trades, right? And so I decided that I thought I wanted to take culinary at first. And when I got in that class, I don't like small spaces. Everybody there seemed unhappy. When I got in that motherfucker, the first thing she told me to do, I had to wash out this pot that was burnt at the bottom. I wasn't fucking with it. And that was just enough for me to know that that wasn't for me. And call me a quitter if you want. I just know what I'm not finna do and what I'm finna do. Because one thing about me, I don't like cleaning up behind other folks. Bitch, this is my first time stepping in this motherfucker. I'd be damned if I do anything. I want to learn. I just want to sit here and I want to observe for a moment, and then get me into the position of doing all of this shit. She didn't do anything. She wanted bitches to watch pots. I'm not a motherfucking pot scrubber. Period. I don't give a fuck. Zero tolerance. I'm not fucking with it. So that was the first and last day I was in culinary. I was like, nope, I don't want to do this shit. So they said, and then mind you, I'm a minor, so I have limited options of what I can take. I can't just take any fucking class. Now the thing I remember them having open for minors was painting, culinary, office, and I think electrical. But I think those were the only ones that was it. But I didn't want to do none of that other shit, so I just decided to go on and run my ass to paint and see what they was about. That sounded like the most easiest thing. I wasn't coming there. To be honest, I wasn't really focused on a trade. I was more focused on getting my high school diploma. So when you see me talking about these trades like that, my head was somewhere else. I wanted to do something else. And yeah, so I knew that I had to choose a trade, and I knew I wanted to be comfortable. I don't like being uncomfortable, so I just had to figure some shit out really fucking quick. So the second best thing was painting. I went in there, I observed, everything was cool. The teacher was cool. You know, it didn't seem that fucking hard, you know, and I even did the training and shit. He wanted us to paint walls. I was willing to do that shit before I scrub a pot. I was not fucking with it at all. Yeah, so, yeah, I stuck with painting. And I think I was in painting for a good... I think I was in painting for, like, a good year. Until I like... you know, completed. But I didn't complete. I stayed my full 2 years. So I got to absorb a lot from Job Corps. This is not a 6-month stay. This is not... That's what I thought it was going to be. But I prolonged my stay because I didn't only just take painting. I got into my office. I took office too. I did complete painting, but I took office too. And I had to complete that shit too. Because while you're there, you have 2 years and you could take 2 trades. And I chose to stay the full 2. So, yeah. Now, the painting, it was cool, blah, blah, blah. And now, I think I'm in Job Corps about a month and a half. And then, you know, more phase groups was coming in every week. So, you know, we was the stars for like a week. And then shit just progressed. And everybody was worrying about the next phase group, the next dick they can jump on, the next pussy they can fuck. That's how it was. Because phase group, it was like, they used to call it fishing day, like some shit like that. Some light skinned boy told me they used to call that shit fishing day. They was used to peep, like the niggas. They used to look in the in the phase groups and shit to see what girls was cute, what girls they was gonna try to holler at and shit. Some of the girls was even doing the same thing, so it wasn't one-sided. They used to check out the boys and shit like that. A lot of the phase groups, niggas was booed up they first 2 weeks, and they was booed up with their motherfucking phase mates, and that shit was crazy. But yeah, that's how that shit went. So then this one phase group came, and I met these people. Let's just call them Jacob and Brent. Jacob and Ashley. Those are the first two people I remember from this specific phase group. Now Jacob was, he was just, that one popular, fine boy that's just there, and he just seems to lay his eyes on you like the weirdo, out of the way type of bit. Like, he spotted me, and I guess, and he just wanted to be my friend. And me, I'm very standoffish at first. I don't like just giving my heart to anybody, and then I have to read you before I even let you in. So I was giving him a very, very, very fucking hard time. And but he was consistent. And one thing about me, I love consistency. He was very consistent, and he was really, I felt like he was really, really trying to, be there, be my friend, and be somebody that will be around for a long time. So, I used to just entertain him because I ain't had shit else to do. Like, I barely talked to my phase mates. I didn't really get along with them, shit like that. So, me and this guy, we made friends and shit like that. And I think for the first 2 weeks he was there, like every day after trade he would come talk to me and shit like that. We would sit, and cause we was in dorm 14, we were all in dorm 14. This is the new dorm, you know what I'm saying? This is where all the new people come into Job Corps. Like, that's the first dorm they stay in before they go into the minors dorms or the adult dorms or whatever, however you want to call that shit. So we all in dorm 14, and mind you, I'm already supposed to be gone, but the staff in that dorm took a liking to me, so they was like, you can stay longer type shit. And it helped because I was a dorm leader, and a dorm leader is is what the fucking definition of dorm leader is. You go around, you check the mag sheet, blah 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 blah. You do the roll in the morning, you do the roll at night. Because we had dorm meetings, 3 times a fucking day. We had a dorm meeting in the morning. We had a dorm meeting after trade. We had a dorm meeting at night. So, it was basically to keep track. And I was helping with that shit with other people that was dorm leaders and shit like that. We had presidents and shit like that. I didn't become a president until I moved dorms, but that's a different day, different topic. That'll be in this is part 1, by the way, of my experience at Job Corps. So this is because it was a very, very, very long 2 fucking years. So be mindful. Yeah, so me and this dude, we got really close. We got acquainted. We used to have serious talks. It was always a playful kind of relationship, and it was just like he more of. I like to think of the relationship as a game of tag. You know how somebody plays tag, you're it, now it's your turn to blah 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 blah. That's how it was. It was just a chase. Felt like a chase. It felt like it was just fun to just laugh and not take somebody too seriously, not to be too deep into something, but for somebody to also understand you and shit like that. Cause we had serious conversations before, but it was also just a very playful relationship. And it wasn't on I wanted to be with him, he wanted to be with me. It was just like we gravitated towards each other. It just unexpectedly happened. Like, and the feelings that I had wasn't like, I was in love with you or no shit like that. It was just like, you actually serious. You want to be my friend. You are starting to mean something type shit. not in that aspect, but as in for friends. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like he felt the same way too, because his actions spoke louder than his words. Um, and yeah, so we was just always playing. He would do petty shit like stand by me in dorm meeting, and he knew he was a fucking giant. So, and I'm short. I'm 5'7", so I'm a itty bitty thing, and I would just be annoyed at the simple fact that he would do that shit, making me feel small. But it was just funny. It was funny to both of us, and it was just very amusing and shit like that. And then he would come, talk to me. We'd sit on. I remember we used to play. We had this big ass fucking I forgot what that thing called. You know the little things that is like it's a game. And it has like checker things, but it's not checker. But you have to put them in that thing. You have to block the people off because if they get one line with the colors and shit like that, that's the game it was. But it was a big ass thing. Like it was big. Like you had to stand up and grab the big ass Jolly Rancher looking thing. You could, ugh. I forgot what it's called, but it was a game, and I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and we used to play that game. We used to sit in the grande room, have conversations. We used to eat lunch sometime together. We wouldn't eat lunch all the time because once again, like he's the popular boy, so he sits at the popular table. I mean, and I'm just me and then this is about the time that another face group came in and I met these two girls. Um, uh, two of my closest friends. One of us, we don't speak like that anymore, but it's just like, it's still love there. But me and the other one, we're really, really close to this day. I still talk to her. I still see her. We still do stuff together and shit like that. And yeah, so I met these two girls. Let's call them Kelsey and Ivory. No, not Ivory, because I know Ivory. But Kelsey and Renee. Renee and Kelsey were like, after I met them, and I always gravitated towards female because male energy, I had a hard time dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, it's just like, the people it's some shit that I went through as a child, and that made me not trust men. And I'm not insinuating what y'all probably think, but it's just a lot of shit that happens. And I eventually get into it when I'm more comfortable with the channel and shit like that, and I'm more comfortable speaking on shit like that. But we just gonna take this one step at a time, okay? Yeah, so Kelsey and Renee, we got really tight, and this is like my departure from my phase group, but I still had much love for my phase group, and I wasn't being fake. I'm not a fake bitch. Like if we talk, we talk. We cool. Like even though I was hanging out with them most of the time after that, I still would have the decency to speak to my phase group people because eventually people scatter, and that's what we did. We scattered. We found our own groups. We found our own lanes, basically. That's what we all did, but we still had love for each other since we were a phase group and we came into this shit together type shit. Now, and I felt like it was a more closer relationship, a closer bond with them than anybody else. So I should be able to tell you, oh, this is the person I like, or this is the person, blah blah blah, or yada yada yada, and whatever. I feel like that shit kind of made it sacred. I thought that was unspoken, but I guess it wasn't. I guess it didn't mean that to everybody. But this one dude, let's just call him Polar Bear, cause he was kind of chubby. He wasn't chubby. He was like a bear. You know what I'm saying? And he I thought he was cool, and he was cool for the most part up until he did some kind of weird shit. Like I guess he was over listening to a conversation I was having with one of my other phase mates about somebody that I was just pointing out they was cute. I wasn't trying to hit on them. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I wasn't trying to do anything. I just thought somebody was cute, and I just told them, "Oh, he's cute," type shit. You know, and this is, and I'm, mind you, this is all me already comfortable in my sexuality. So I tell my coming out story another time as well. That'll be a different video. But yeah, so I was like, "Oh, this guy is cute," type shit. And she was like, "Oh, you think so?" Blah 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 blah. And we was just, basically, let's call it girl talk. I'm not a girl. I definitely identify as a boy, but we just gonna call it girl talk. It was just girl talk. You know what I'm saying? And I guess he overheard that, and I guess he went and told him I liked him, and then he went and he told somebody else that I said something about or wanted to sleep with him, and I was just like, one, I didn't say shit like that. I only spoke about one person, and that one person was just that one person. And me and him, we already just spoke on the situation. And no, it wasn't the boy I was just telling you about. It was actually his friend. Oh, this sounds really confusing since I'm not dropping names and shit. But I'm trying to be respectful because everybody that moved on in life, everybody then got in relationships and shit. So I'm trying to be respectful. Oh shit. I hope, yeah, it's coming out okay. Yeah, so he went back and he was just telling people shit, and then I remember I came out from the dorm because, mind you, like I said, if I wasn't in trade, I was mostly in the dorm anyway because I wasn't really trying to be outside because I knew it was a lot of drama, so I knew to stay away. But I started to go outside when I met the girls because they stayed on the other side of the dorm, so we would have to interact with each other because it was a boy side and it's a girl side in the same dorm. This is dorm 14, and I'm still in the dorm that you come into when you're a new student. Mind you, my phase group then already moved into different dorms and shit like that. But I stayed because one, I'm a dorm leader and I was really close with the other RAs and shit. And they knew that if I went to the minors dorm, that it was going to be a huge problem for me because I always been more mature than my age group type shit. So I knew I never really got along. I knew they was gonna try to bully and shit, and I just wanted to avoid any conflict because I didn't want to have to fight and ended up getting terminated. And they understood that, so they helped me out and let me stay in the dorm type shit. And yeah. So I'm still in the dorm, and we had to interact with each other in the grande room. That's the big living area in the middle of where everybody else's side of the dorm was. And hold on. So we used to just chill out there, and me, the girls, and him, and some of his phase groups too. The little, I forgot what we just gonna call him fucking Justin. Justin is the boy I was telling you about being very close with and shit like that. The straight boy I was being very close with, the tall one. Justin, he used to even come chill with us too. Even though he had his own group and shit like that, and he had I guess an image to maintain since he's the fucking whatever you wanted to call him. And yeah, and we used to all just chill in there, hang out, talk and shit like that, play. Then I started going outside with them. We used to go to the rec. We used to play pool. We used to play cards, like Uno and shit like that. And it was a good time. It was like I was really finding myself. The fear is gone. Everything is in play and shit like that. And then boom. Then Bear motherfucker want to tell these people this shit. Now I go outside one day, and I remember I going to the rec to go play Uno with them and shit like that. And I just remember my phase mate and him, out of every fucking body, he came up to me, Teddy Bear. He came up to me fucking talking about something. What did you do? You got somebody this boy looking for you and all this other shit. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, why is somebody looking for me? Like, I don't bother nobody. I don't cause commotion, no shit like that. And he was like, I don't know what you did. He just wouldn't tell me what was going on and shit. And I was just shook, shit. So I went outside and I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. I asked some of my other phase mates because they knew about the situation too, and they was like, "This boy said that you wanted to fuck him," and I'm like, "Who? I don't even know who this person is. This is him spreading lies to other people. I only said something about one person, and me and that person already spoke on that, and boom. So now he's telling lies and he going and getting other people involved that I don't know. And this man is coming around. He's like storming around campus. They was like, oh, he's storming around campus. He want to fight, blah, 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 blah. And mind you, he a grown-ass man. I'm 16. So if he put his hands on me, one, he's going to go to jail. Two, he's getting terminated type shit. So I don't know what happened. It was kind of a blur after that because it was so much adrenaline. And I'm one of the people, I don't fight unless I have to. And I really don't like to fight. Doesn't mean I can't fight, but that situation I just felt like wasn't worth it. Me and him had a conversation. He approached me about it. He was like, I'm not with that gay shit, blah, 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 blah. But I was like, I never said that to you, though. I never said that about you. He's making up lies. And my phase mate stuck up for me. And the girl that actually I had the conversation with said, no, that wasn't said. What was said was this. We was talking about a completely different person. And you wasn't even to mention up because we don't know each other type shit. So she came and she defended me. And this girl is not in my phase group. This was what? Fucking Ashley. This Ashley came to stick up for me. And yeah. So he let it go. And we just thought it was best because we didn't want nobody getting in trouble. We didn't want nobody to get terminated and shit like that. So we let it go. We let bygones be bygones. But, you know, I chose to stay away from him after that because I seen, like, his anger and that shit. And I don't really like angry people because that makes them unpredictable. And I don't like unpredictable people. You know what I'm saying? Call me what you want, but I just know what's for me and what's not for me. What type of energy is. I don't like short-tempered, even though I'm kind of short-tempered. But my short-tempered is not like that short temper. His short temper like, oh bitch, I'm going to put my hands on you. My short temper is like, I just need some space, or we're just not going to talk anymore. I'm not a violent person. I always say, like, I would rather stop talking to you before I put my hands on you. That's always how I've been. And yeah, we let it go. Now, mind you, so now I have to go and we have to confront Teddy Bear because now the truth is out. We all, even the dude that said that was mad, we all had to confront him about that shit. And yeah, and then after the whole thing went about, and I'm the youngest in the group, and you making up lies and shit, and my phase mates, I remember the boy, we called him Louisiana. He'll know who he is, cause all my phase mates like, that's your phase mate. He's so fine. Put me on. I'm like, go talk to the nigga. I can't put you on shit. I just know him as my phase mate. And yeah. So Louisiana, he was like, yeah, I'm not fucking with you after that. And then everybody followed suit. Like, obviously, I wasn't fucking with him after that, but you know, my other phase mates, they actually stuck up for me. And they was like, yeah, even the girl, like, even though we kind of fell out after the fact, after that, like a little further down after that, she even came and she stuck up for me in that situation too. And nobody in my phase group was fucking with him at that point. And I guess he felt alone, but I was just like, I'm a forgiving person, so I let it go. I started talking to him again and shit like that, and he really didn't try it after that. Again, you know, you got to give people a chance. You know, people live and learn. He was young too, type shit. Now, let's fast forward a little bit more after. I'm gonna say after that. Now, mind you, everybody is still getting along. Everything is just kicking, and we all good. Now, Job Corps in itself, let me get down to it. Job Corps in itself it's what you make it. I wouldn't say it's for everybody because it's not. And it's like it's not for the weak. You have to be very mature. You have to be very strong. It's a lot of pettiness, even in the staff. It was just so much shit going on, and I'm not one of them people that spill tea, but it was just a lot of shit going on. Like we went through a whole bunch of shit up there. Like we had parties and shit. We had um a lot of shit. We had rumors about students fucking with staff. Uh, it was the whole money scandal. Like people was giving out fake money at that motherfucker, and a whole bunch of shit was just popping off. And it was crazy. It was crazy. But honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world because going to Job Corps really, really, really helped me grow and become more mature and becoming a young adult. Because when you're on Job Corps, like you're on your own, especially mainly for a minor. Because I know the adults, they probably like, oh, that shit they used to because they already grown, they going through it. But if you're going as a minor, you're going at 16. I'm gonna just tell you now, you're on your own. You have to make decisions for yourself. You have to, I mean, you can always confide in your parents and shit like that, but when you're there by yourself and they're on the other side of that motherfucking fence and they're at child home or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you're there and you have to make all the decisions for you because they're not gonna call your mom like, oh, do you want to can he take this trade? Can he do this? Or they're not going to do that. They're going to ask you. So you have to be prepared to do shit like that. And you have to also be prepared for your surroundings too. Because you can't trust everybody. But it's also good people in this world as well. And the biggest lessons I learned from Job Corps is that it's okay to fail. It's okay to be behind. It's okay to to fall. And I did a lot of falling at Job Corps. Like I lost my father at Job Corps. My father passed away this is in my second year of Job Corps. And that took a really big toll on me. No, it wasn't. It was the almost the ending of that year. And it was just a lot of shit that went on for me at Job Corps. But everybody's experience is different. And yours can be different if y'all decide to go. I'm just telling you what happened to me. And that story, the little story with the whole boys and shit, that was just the first snippet of all the extra shit that went down. But after that, it kind of died down for me, for the most part, up until I had up until like me and Justin got so close, still good friends, but he was in a relationship with this girl and I don't know, she found a reason not to like me for some reason. I still don't know what the true problem was today. But I still don't really know what the problem was today. It was just a lot of shit that was just going on behind underhanded shit, because I just know people's energy, and her energy wasn't right with me. She was coming at me real aggressive. She didn't want me around him. She was trying to, she even got to the point where she tried to fight me, like, but she claimed it was behind a fucking game or some shit. I really don't really remember, but I do remember, like, I know it was behind a game. I think it was a volleyball game or some shit like that, and I guess I hit the ball too hard and it flew past her or some shit. And but that's what she claimed. That's where the attitude came from. That's where it all originated from. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So I've really been trying to hold back on this, but I think I'm gonna just go ahead and just let the shit go. I'm not gonna say nobody's names because I'm respectful. And let me just clarify before I finish this story that I do not have a problem with you folks no more. I have forgiven. I have moving on. I have matured. I'm just telling my side of the story. I'm just getting my YouTube started and shit. So this is just something that I went through that I felt like people will want to watch and shit like that. But yeah, so She after I hit the volleyball and shit like that, she got an attitude. So I said fuck the game, and I just left because I already felt she was mad about it. I was like, I just blew this shit off, and I went on about my day. And me and him, we was still cool. We was still kicking, but she, I guess it was just tension there after that, and it was just underhanded shit, and it was just little shit going back and forth on Facebook, and then motherfuckers want to throw subs, and then bitches want to get mad behind dumb shit, and then it got so far as that some of my friends was getting into it with them, and shit like that. It was just a lot of petty shit, and I was a kid back then, but looking at that shit now, that was really petty, that was really uncalled for. If motherfuckers was grown enough, because mind you, all of these people are older than me. You know, the girl that had a problem with me, she's older than me. You're grown. And, you know, and I was 16, going on 17 at the time. So you're trying to pick a fight with me behind whatever fucking reason. And it is what it is. And I couldn't understand why. But, yeah, and it was just slowly tension. My friends was getting into it with them. It was just a lot of shit. And then it all came down drastically to a point where she came into the rec, and she told me to step outside. Like, I guess she felt like she was charging me up or some shit. Mind you, everybody knows, everybody was telling me it has to be behind this nigga. Cause I was playing dumb for the longest time. Well, I wasn't playing dumb, I was actually, cause me and him, we were just friends. That's what I thought it was, you know, friends. Shit, this is a grown ass man. I mean, obviously, I knew he was fine. Like, I'm not gonna ignore that he wasn't fine, but I'm just saying, like, this is a grown ass man. I'm 16. Ain't no way he's straight. Blah blah blah. He's with her. Whatever. And I respected that shit. But we still had a close bond, and I guess she didn't like that. And yeah, so she called me outside to fight, and I never been the person that like hit a female, but it was just like it was so much shit up to that point that that was being done, that was being said, that was getting back to people and shit, then getting back to me, and it was just like it was so much motherfucking tension, and it was just annoying after that, and yeah, so she called me outside and she told me some step outside, and I'm like. And I'm not, mind you, I don't condone putting your hands on females. I don't condone fighting, but this is a big girl anyway. Like I said, I'm short as hell. I'm 5'7". This girl was damn near that nigga height. You know what I'm saying? If she had to at least been 5'11", 6 foot almost. So you talking about step outside? Well, shit, fuck it. Shit, you tall as a nigga anyway, so might as well. And then, but I walked outside. I tried to walk outside quietly, but my friends in the dorm, I guess they seen the tension that was building up, and they seen what happened, and they intervened. They wouldn't let me go outside, and then one thing is just a whole bunch of fucking crazy shit happened in the reg. I kind of really blacked out. My friend said I flew over a pool table or some shit like that. And then it was some nigga that she was friends with. Like, some nigga that was on the down low that we all knew was gay, but he was just not saying that he was gay. Yeah, he tried to intervene, I guess, to protect her or whatever the fuck, since she's a girl. And I kind of understood where he was coming from. But it was like, this is not your fight, my nigga. This is not, at the end of the day, she told me to come outside. So it's not like I'm antagonizing her. You know what I'm saying? She antagonizing me. She came to the table, and it is what it is. We was both tired at that point. We was both tired of the back and forth. So I'm like, bitch, I don't give a fuck at this point. If you want to fight, we can fight. Whatever. But more of the story, no, she swung at me, missed. Didn't happen. Then the nigga tried to intervene, and I was seeing red at that point, so I immediately was ready just to attack him. This nigga done picked up a brick. He wasn't, and mind you, he was taller than me too. It was just a lot, but Job Corps was very ghetto in a lot of ways, but it helped me in a lot of ways too. And I can honestly say that Job Corps it is what you make it. And it can be a bad place, it can be a good place. It's all about how you surround yourself. Now, after all of that shit happened, you know, we fell back, and I put that shit in God's hands, and then God, you know, came through, and he solved the problem for me. You know, people just was getting removed from around me and shit like that, and shit like that, and it is what it is. But yeah, this is part one. I'm gonna drop a part two, and I'm sorry that my communication skills is very not where it is supposed to be yet, but eventually I'm gonna get there. And yeah, so just bear with me, please. Thank you for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, share. And again, this is part one. I'm gonna drop part two later, probably after a couple more videos are up, and then I'll drop it again. I'll drop the second part, and I get more in depth and shit like that about the second year, because there was just a lot of shit that went on. But yeah. So thank you for listening, and have a good, I don't know, rest of your day. I'm Armani, and I guess I'm out.